Welcome to Neos, where you get to destroy the bugs. Right behind me, we're in the middle of chaos, so I'm sorry, I gotta shoot these things. Hello, everybody. This is Neos, and we are doing an interview about what exactly this is. You might have heard about it through various VR creators. And I've actually tried to make a video about this for the past, I don't know, month or so, ever since I tried it for the first time. But it's so hard to explain to people. I even filmed so many things. So I figured if I can't do it by myself, why don't I get a group of some amazing friends to help me explain it to you with me? So today we have Skeeva.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Thanks for having me, Jasmine. I appreciate it. This is going to be fun.
Skeeva's the host, a co-host of Between Realities podcast. And we have Turk.
Hello.
Turk is one of the head moderators for Neos VR. We have Robyn.
Hey everyone. Thanks for inviting me.
You've probably seen Robyn in a couple of VR podcasts, etc., and in a lot of VR communities. And we have Shorty, who's actually very short today.
Yes, very, very small today.
That's actually one of the beautiful things about Neos is that you can adjust your avatar to be big or small. He was the last addition to our interview panel, so we made room.
Yes. So much room right here.
Okay, to start off, I don't know. Who wants to go first and explain, what exactly is Neos?
Skeeva just straight looks at me. Okay.
Everyone looks at you.
Neos is a wonderful place, I would say.
It really is.
It's a platform for creation, socialization, and it's hard to put it into words sometimes because one day you're making a bunch of cool stuff, other day you're just hanging out with friends, the other day somebody made a monster truck and you're just riding it through the hills or whatnot.
Oh my gosh, that was so fun.
It's yeah. So it's really kind of hard to describe it sometimes because every day is different from the last.
Yeah, it's really such a killer place, right? The way I like to describe it to people is if you've seen the movie Ready Player One, it's the oasis. Anything that you can think of, anything that you can possibly imagine, with a little bit of elbow grease, you can make it happen. Everything and anything is possible in Neos. And most of the time, you don't even have to leave the platform. You can do all your editing and all of your creation from within Neos itself. So it's really amazing. Unlike something like VRchat, right? Where you actually, if you do want to create and make new things, you have to leave, you have to go into Unity, you have to know Unity, right? And then you have to export into VRchat and it's a process, right? But here you can just do anything on the fly. If something doesn't work the way you want it to, you can make it work the way you want it to. And it's phenomenal. I love it.
Yeah, exactly right. And actually, Skeeva was one of the people who was trying to heavily convince me to try Neos. And for a long time, I was like, no, it's okay. I'm too busy, like a dummy. But actually, the second I got on, I was hooked. He kept explaining it as it's like the real version of Ready Player One, but that seems still a little bit vague. So I kind of want to, dig deeper a little bit into that because when he kept saying that to me, I was just like, okay. It was a little bit vague. And again, Neos is hard to explain. Yeah. Robyn,
totally
what's your experience?
Neos has just been it's been such a different experience for me. Coming only playing games in VR for the last year and a half. I've
since the pandemic.
Yeah, I've worked in it for a lot longer than I actually played games. But I don't know. When I come in here, it's there's just this ultimate feeling of creation. You can create anything. And I'm not even a super technical person, and I usually have to ask about how to do everything. But I think it's cool because then in the end, for instance, this world I eventually want to continue creating, I'm going to have this piece of art that everyone's collectively helped me with. And it's just special. I don't know. It's special. It's different.
Yeah, you mentioned that you were creating a world and you kind of touched on that. Do you want to talk about it a little bit more?
Oh, it's just it's very slow going. But I had a dog for 15 years, and she was just like a really big part of my life. We traveled a
Of course.
lot. I know it sounds silly, but she was like my dog, man.
That's not
And like,
silly.
yeah, and I miss her every day, and she's been gone only like almost 4 years, but it's I've just like always missed her. And when I came into Neo's, the first thing I thought was that I wanted to create like a place where I could hang out with my dog. And
Ugh,
and so
That's
I've just
adorable.
started.
that's just
Yeah,
so
so I'm
sweet. It like warms my heart.
and so now I'm just like recreating instances of like our past life together inside of this world, so I can just revisit these places with her
Hmm.
again. I don't know. It's pretty rad. It's really
Ugh,
rad.
That's sweet, really.
it's so sweet. It's like making me tear up, but I can't because I have mascara on and then it's gonna go all over the headset.
Oh.
Oh, we can cry
VR
later, I
problems.
promise.
I know. How hard has it been to like create your world? I mean, I personally haven't created anything here yet, or anywhere really. I just, I'm just an absorber. Um, so how has it been creating your own world in Neos?
Yeah, for me personally, I just have a hard time grasping new stuff sometimes. So it's a bit of a learning curve
Hmm.
for someone like me who's really not super technical. But the coolest part is that when you do come in here, there's always someone that's around to help and someone
That's
that
such a great
knows.
point.
Yeah, and so like I've never come in here and felt overwhelmed or frustrated for the most part. I think like one time I was like, why? But like, you know, I
I
it's
will
great here.
say, for me, my
Hmm.
first time, I wouldn't say I was frustrated, but my first time joining into Neos, I was like, what the heck? These controls are
Mm-hmm.
insane. So, Neos is not really beginner friendly. So, if you're a beginner into VR, the controls are not that intuitive. So, you definitely need someone to help you out. I don't know if
You can
any.
I'll agree
definitely.
there. The first day, couple days, or like the first week is always a bit like overwhelming for some people because there's like so much to do, or there's like, wait, where am I going? How am I doing it? It just can be like a little like overwhelming mixed with like just, oh shit, I can do all this at the same time.
I'm actually curious. How has everyone explained? When you try to explain to someone Neos, you try to condense it as short as possible. So Skeeva has said
Mm.
he'll say it's like Ready Player One in real life. How has everyone else tried to explain it in the simplest way possible to friends and
Um,
other people interested?
for me, because I feel like I did a poor job in at least explaining like what Neos is to earlier. But it's kind of hard because sometimes Neos is different for what everyone sees it to be. Like for me, when I first joined, I had somebody just come on in, say hi, show me a bunch of toys. My number one moment was literally just like coming in here. He spawned a giant R-wing. I hopped in and I
Mm.
just completely fucked off into space. I'm like, oh my
Oh
god, I can't go
man,
back to any other game. What is this?
yeah. Oh man, that's actually
Like
such a good point.
literally just the freedom to just go do
Ooh,
something
yeah.
is so nice in here. Like if I want, I could get out of this here, fly out. If I want, I could literally grab that plushy boy over there and just make him
Hmm.
gigantic. Like literally, like you think you do in here, and it's that powerful.
Yep. And later on, we'll explore some worlds after we get the conversations out of the way so we can show you what that looks like. It's insane. Robin, how do you explain Neos to people?
Well, just this evening, actually, I was talking to a friend of mine who's a flat gamer for the most part and doesn't really know much about.
If
Oh,
it makes you feel
I,
better, pancake gaming.
yeah, I
Excuse
love the
me,
term like flat and
pancake
pancake
gaming.
gaming. It's only the VR
Yeah.
community that is doing
Yeah.
that, but it's great. Actually, we should explain what
I
that means to people.
think I adopted it from the community.
Is
Oh.
it's the best term. Pancakes are so good. It's like a great term to
I
use, but
love
it means
It
anyone.
pancakes.
is.
It means anyone that's just playing 2D games and not 3D. Okay, go ahead.
The other nice thing is like a pancake is something you don't have all the time, but you're always happy to go back and enjoy every now and then.
Aw, that's so
yeah,
poetic.
Turk, that's a good one.
I wish I could
Heck
snap
yeah.
in this because then I would snap for you. You know, like in
Skeeva,
poetry.
you wanna? There you go.
Oh,
Oh
see,
yeah.
that's the other great thing about Neos. You can again, whatever you dream, you can achieve. It's like I sound like do I sound like Walt Disney? You can dream it and believe
To give you a little bit
Walt-
more of like a southern drawl.
Walt
Add a
Disney
little
would
bit
have
more age.
lost his mind
Oh
if
my
he saw
gosh.
this.
You
Right?
ma-
Like this is so much more than you could ever even do at Disney World. I mean, you could
Mhm.
recreate every Disney World ride in here if you wanted to. You
Mhm.
know, I mean, it's just so powerful, and it's not just the worlds, right? It's the thing, like Turk was saying, you can create things, right? I can grab a Pokeball and like capture you in there,
It's
you know,
happened.
or I could grab you and put you on a gun and shoot you off into the void, right? Like it's just
Yeah.
it's insane. You can interact with each other, you can interact with things, you can interact with worlds, vehicles, just anything you can possibly imagine. We have a friend in here that recreated one-to-one the ISS space station.
Oh,
You
I
know,
need to go to that.
It's just so bananas. Like it's a dream come true, really.
Yeah. And
It's
really,
just phenomenal.
yeah.
It's really tricky. Like you can even ask Shorty because we for me and Shorty we're like mentors of the community. So usually what happens is like we help a lot of new people or just kind of show them the ropes, and it is always different of like explaining what is Neos to somebody, because generally what ends up happening is you have to. Everyone wants something different. Everyone has a different like fantasy, I would say. If it makes any sense, because
That is
like
such a good point.
that's really what it is. Like even with Ready Player One, like someone's like, I want to be a Gundam, or I want to be King of the Hill, or I want to be like a mafia boss, or just whatever. You know, it's just like the most inane, fantastical thing you could do, and you get to just like kind of immerse yourself in doing that.
And I think that's it. It is real because there's so much to do and so many things to create in Neos. It really is when you explain it to someone, it really is about the person and what they would find appealing, because what you would want, you can pretty much get here. I want to go back to Robyn because she was
with
explaining.
a little bit of elbow grease, I'll admit, though.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
definitely.
I want to go back to Robyn. Sorry, you were talking about pancake gaming and what you were how you explained it to someone tonight.
Oh yeah, it was it was very simplistic, and I just said it was like Minecraft but on like huge steroids.
We have Minecraft.
I know you do.
Oh my gosh, that was
I know
so
you do.
good.
Because
Oh, I
haven't
love
even
that.
gone there yet.
I was like,
I mean,
we have Minecraft.
It really, yeah, that's the thing. Everything is really here. It's like whatever you could imagine. How about you, Shorty? When you tell people in your life, everyone just turns and looks at Shorty right away. No pressure, no pressure, Shorty. But how do you explain Neos to people?
How I explain things to how I explain Neos is like Turk said it. Like it's just a platform where just like a bunch of people just come have the creative freedom just to do anything they want. But like I just basically just my go-to just saying for new users is it's a game engine, but you have the creative, like you have freedom. You have freedom, no strings attached to create whatever you want. Like this world right here we're in. No one.
Oh yeah,
no
this
one
is
said,
beautiful world.
no one said to make it. No one, like they had their choice, like their freedom of choice to what to put in this world. So like it's just Neos is just like a creative platform where people can go hang out, create things, and do so much more.
Yeah, it's like, oh, do you know what? Have you guys watched Rugrats growing up? It's like how they went on the no, yes.
Tommy was my spirit animal.
Yeah, I'm like, in Rugrats when they would go on their little adventures, but probably not. I don't think you've seen it, Skeeva, have you?
No, but I've grown up with shows like it. You know, I think I was in like high school by the time Rugrats
Gross.
came out. But like,
Yeah,
Muppet
honestly.
Babies and stuff like that. I've seen plenty of things like it.
Oh, okay. Well, in Rugrats, it's basically these babies with crazy, over imaginative, I guess, imaginations. And so they'll go on these adventures in the real world. And in the real world, it's just a table. But in Rugrats, it can be like, I don't know, a whole plane that they're trying to cross or something. And there could be alligators on this ground. So It's kind of like that, where it's just like whatever you can possibly dream, you can just make.
And collaboratively at that, right? Like you can
Oh,
make
yeah.
with your friends, you can all get together and all be working on the same world, having a blast, talking, joking, and creating
Hanging out,
all at the
like,
same time.
No,
Exactly.
No, completely. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, yeah, it not only can you just create like worlds and within the world you're in, but you can also just collaborate, like Skeeva said. But like it's just amazing how I think a couple weeks ago, at the beginning of MMC, Turk and some other people just came into my world while I was just working, and like they were having a blast, just like editing stuff in the world as well. So it was just great. It was a blast that day.
It's because you can edit things inside Neos that you can collaborate and create things with others, because you don't have to go on your computer, make it, and then import it. It can be done internally to the game.
Best way to think in like a real world term is you have a workbench that everybody can use. Nobody gets in the way of trying to use the workbench, and you all can use the same tools at the same time.
Yep.
So
That's perfect.
So to me, when I explain this to people, I say exactly what everyone else has already said about it being super creative, but also I do feel like it's very underground right now. So I actually feel really cool that I'm part of this crew.
Welcome to the early days where all the
Yeah.
first memories are made.
But I
just me and Turk in the future are gonna just disappear by the amount of work we're gonna do.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I explained it as it's very underground, and I think part of the reason it's underground is because like the controls, like I said earlier, is not that easy to understand, and it's not very easy to understand the game in general. When you first log on, it's pretty confusing, and if you don't know anyone in the community, if you just bought your VR headset and don't know anyone in here, it can be a little bit overwhelming, and it can be a harder transition than in other games that are already packaged up and like beautifully wrapped with a bow, ready to serve to the mass market.
I understand. I mean, Neos is still technically in beta. It's still a work in progress.
It's
we
still
don't
in beta?
have everything. Yeah,
It's still
I don't know.
A lot of stuff we don't have yet, like marketplace, mesh networking, rigid bodies. I'm just trying to think like really big general ticket items that a lot of people are really interested in. Collections, if you're the programmer type.
I don't even know what any of these mean, but okay.
I can explain later if you really want me to. But it's generally more of a thing where like there's a lot of stuff we still have to get to. Like they want to have like browser sharing in here. They want to have like there's like a roadmap that you can look on the GitHub, but then there's also like an older one on the website that kind of gives you like a way long time kind of general oversight. But then like the roadmap on the GitHub gives you like a more by the by update of where things are going and what we're doing.
I think the main reason why Neos is so niche is because right now the VR market is really dominated by mobile headsets, right? And you really need a good beefy machine to run something so elaborate and so amazing, right? And it just can't run natively on a Quest right now. But you can run VRchat, you can run RecRoom and AltSpace all natively on the Quest, right? But you need a good gaming PC to run this and to run it well too. So it really is kind of a niche of a niche, being like you have to have PCVR and good PCVR at that to really enjoy it. So
I do know we support mobile right now, but it's just
we do
make sure we do, but it's not really, as I would say, consumer ready for the general public. It's very much like a test beta build, or like a build that people can mess with. But it is still updated, and it's like progression in terms of weight. Like it's considered a part of the design as they're developing the platform too.
That's awesome. I am actually using the Quest 2 headset, but I am using AirLink to my very beefy PC. and I've heard actually other people use AirLink, but maybe it doesn't work as well for them. And I realize it's because I have also a very beefy networking router system. So if you have all of that,
too.
Yeah, virtual desktop runs really well too, or just the standard link cable.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that there's like a roadmap for Neo. So I mean, how long is it going to take to get to mainstream? And what does that plan look like?
So I honestly can't give a good estimate for that, and I don't think even I can speak for that right now.
Mm-hmm.
Because like only the team could really speak for that in that capacity, and even then, it's something they generally try not to do because you want to do it right. You don't want to do it where there's an expectation set, you miss it, and then everyone's upset and let down. But the reality of building something with like a solid foundation does not have good time spans or like what's the word uh estimation dates, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Like the one thing that gets seen and said a lot is like it'll get done when it gets done, in terms of
Yeah.
like when is this when it's done, when is this when it's
Because
done.
they want to do it right. So
Yeah, and
but
a
it's
lot of
still
the stuff
very
that people
fun.
want to are also like you need this before you get to the next thing and then the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the other thing that's really crazy about this whole thing is correct me if I'm wrong, but this started off with I think just one guy, right? Fruxius?
Two
Just
actually. It started
two,
with
okay.
Fruxius and
That's
Carol.
wild.
Carol's the CEO and Frux is the CTO.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
all of this has
All of
grown
this.
from like the vision of two people, right? That's pretty
That's
wild. Where you have
insane.
something like AltSpace, which is
Mhm.
owned by Microsoft and has thousands of
Oh,
employees and isn't even nearly as even close to as cool as this, right? So if I'm sure someday as this becomes more and more successful and they get more and more programmers and more people just grinding away at it, it'll become more and more of a reality to to maybe the audience in mobile PCV or mobile VR headsets. But yeah, it's just a very small team. It's a small team. So
it's amazing. I mean,
I can definitely say it's also not just all them too, because they would not be here if it weren't for like community, other team members adding, and just it really is like a collaborative effort. You can even see it in the update notes. If anybody has like a request or something, they get credited for like even mentioning it or even like bringing up the discussion for it. So it's really nice because like they always try to give back in terms of like everyone who helps out the platform.
that's so sweet. Okay, so
originally, actually, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, but originally Neo started as a educational platform.
no way.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna drop that bombshell. Okay,
yeah,
do
way
tell.
back. I want to say I could be wrong on the dates, but maybe 2018, 2016. Double check me on this because the dates are hazy and time has flown since then. But originally they started as like an educational platform that they just built for education. They wanted to be a learning tool. So that's where a lot of the roots originally came from in terms of like the collaboration and learning on here.
Wow. That's so touching. I was a tutor for 10 years, so
too.
yeah. I love that collaboration aspect of it because I tutored in math for 10 years of my life, and I still love teaching, but I don't do it anymore. So that's beautiful. Okay, so we've been talking about how amazing Neos is and basically making everyone extremely jealous. So for those that do have the appropriate gear to get on, what is the best way for them to not be overwhelmed and to have a really good first experience?
I would say take your time. Try to find a friend within the community, or just ask somebody in the community. Be like, "Hey, can someone show me around?" And usually someone will say, "Yeah, I will. I don't mind."
But where do they find the community?
Just go to the Discord.
First, us mentors. Well, and some other people within the like that are not mentors as well within the community. We go out and we go out of our time like that we have, and we see new users, and so we go to those new users sessions, and then that's how we introduce ourselves to just like to have their very first friends and Nias, and then that's when it starts to expands out to the entire community.
Yeah, I don't know that I would have continued to come back if I didn't come in here and have like a couple of people go, "Hey, you're brand new." Like they came into like where I first spawned in, and they're like, "Let me show you around. Let's show you what's going on here. Here, check out these toys. Check out this cool stuff we can do. Come with me." And like they just
so
made it a
sweet.
really, really friendly environment and really like took the time to be in. They're very, very patient patient. That's the other thing, because you
Oh,
know,
yeah.
right, that
Oh,
that
yeah.
you come in here and it's like you go through the tutorial and you're like, oh my god, I'll never
What just
remember all
happened?
of these
Yeah.
buttons.
I still
What
don't
just
remember.
happened?
Wait, Steven,
Right?
was that before or after, like, or was that before or on the day I met you?
So my first time was before that. It was before that, and it was
Okay.
actually Gearbell was one of the first people that I met.
Okay,
And
yeah.
and so
Was it you,
Gearbell
Shorty?
is like a legend in Neos, because she is
Oh.
extremely creative and she's just absolutely amazing.
Dang.
And you'll see her running around. Her avatar is like a water lady. She's like completely made of liquid.
Whoa.
She changed.
Oh, she did. All right. Well, when
Yeah.
I met her, she was made of water, and she was walking around dripping on the floor, and there was a fish
Wow.
swimming around inside of her, and she was able
Wow.
to extend her arms out, 20 feet in any direction, and take off into the air with a blast of
This
water that came out of her
sounds
feet.
insane.
It just blew my mind, and that is when I was like, this is the future,
Mhm.
Exactly.
and
That's
then
insane.
yeah, and then I
That's,
came back in.
Oh
there you
my
go.
gosh,
There's-
there.
I forgot about
Hug.
this one.
That is,
It's like,
oh man.
Wow.
Yeah, we're like,
Hey, guy.
oh my gosh, have you ever heard of that pickup line? Oh, did you know that the distance from here to here is as long as from here to here? When you put your arm around the other person next to you? Yeah.
I have not heard it, but I will add that to my repertoire. Thank
Yeah, you point to your one shoulder and then point to your other shoulder, and you're like, distance from here to here is the same as from here to here. Okay, anyway.
It's smooth. No, it's smooth. No, it's smooth. I'm it.
Shorty, what's going on there?
Oh, it's one of the other, avatars that Gearbell has made.
Oh,
Like,
cool.
I think I
Yeah.
could pull one of the arms
That's
off.
insane. I want to meet her. She sounds so cool.
She's
Oh,
unreal.
You might
Yeah.
have to. Oh, there you go.
okay.
Oh.
There goes my arm.
Hey,
Is it
Shorty,
on me?
can I have a hand?
Is that on me? Did you drop your arm?
Yeah, I dropped my arm. Here you
Can I
go.
have
Oh
a
my
hand?
gosh.
Excuse me, here.
Thank you.
Here,
Oh my
here,
gosh.
Take this one.
This is perfect for
There
Halloween.
you go.
where-
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's it.
he's
Here's
on-
another arm.
thank you. Thank you.
That is insane.
Stuck to me. Great.
No, wait,
They're all
don't
stuck
move.
to me,
No, don't
apparently.
move. Don't move.
Okay,
Don't move.
here, have a
well,
head. Have a
well,
head. There you go.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
There you go.
excellent. Thank you,
Oh.
Shorty. I'm grabbing it right now.
Trying
There
to
you
like
go.
stick it to you there. There you go.
Oh,
And
it's
my vision-
vibrating me.
My vision is on this head.
Okay, I was gonna ask. I was like, what are you seeing right now?
Oh, I'm gonna go
So-
slow.
Oh no.
So the vision I'm seeing is
Look at
like,
that.
so yeah, my arms are still moving, but my head is
Oh
like,
my gosh,
still
that arm is also moving, the one in the air.
Yeah.
Yeah, here.
Creepy.
So just stick it to you there.
So
Oh, no,
my
where
vision-
is
It's
it?
on the back of your
Ah,
head.
get out of me, get out of me.
Here, let's pass
So-
Shorty's head over.
I
So
was
yeah,
gonna
my
say-
Okay, wait.
My vision is on the
Yeah.
head.
There you go.
Okay, so pass Shorty's head and remember to shake it violently. I heard you get a prize that way.
Yes.
Ah, I don't want
Yes.
it. Oh, that's so creepy. Get away from me. Get away
What,
from
you don't want
me.
it? What? You don't want a hug? Oh, okay.
This
Just
is
return me back to my
so-
body.
Yeah, let's see. Maybe we can show the camera real quick. Say hi,
Hello,
Shorty.
everyone.
So
Hello.
that's one of the things you can do is dismember somebody, I guess.
Yes, so this
Optionally,
is
of
like
course.
this is
Yes.
like one of the newest avatars that Gearbell has released. So
That is cool,
Yeah.
so cool.
And you got to think that's only one person on here too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if
Oh
you're
my goodness,
comfortable with
hi.
it, Turk, but maybe you can
Hi,
kind of
Buggy.
show off your facial
Oh,
mask
I don't mind.
layers.
Putting it back.
I don't mind. So,
Oh my
I can take
gosh.
face off.
And then wait, doesn't your eyes it expands, remember? Or
Yes,
did you just
actually,
take them off?
So this is it's still on here. It's just more. This is a new avatar, and I haven't set it up yet. Apologies.
Oh.
But
okay.
yeah, no, I can take off like multiple heads here. So like I can just like be like, this is my mask, my face. Hello, hi.
Hmm.
And just be like,
Oh, is it on me again?
hello.
it's a parrot.
It's cool, right? Because
Yes.
the audio actually
wait,
follows
no,
the
careful
mask.
with my head, please.
Oh, that make you dizzy?
No, I'm just saying. I'm just kind of looking at the floor now. It's not really comfortable.
There you go.
Oh, thank you. You're so
There, now
kind.
you can look at what are you looking at now?
I am
Screaming.
looking at the wall.
Okay.
Oh, now he's spinning and
Uh, No,
There you go.
thank you.
Please give me my face back.
Stop. Thank you.
Okay, so Skeeva, you got to share one of your what the experience that really convinced you that this was it, and I kind of want to go around and see what was that moment that was for you. Like, okay, I see it.
So my experience from how I found Neos, I started off as a desktop player actually.
You can play this on
Yeah.
desktop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can play this.
What the-
Yeah, that's another thing.
What
You
the
can play this
heck?
on so if you don't have a VR headset, you can always play on desktop first to test it out.
Yeah.
To test Neos out, but you
Wow.
won't get the full 100% experience. though.
Okay.
Right.
Right.
Just half of it.
On top of that, too, if you feel like you don't want to be in VR, you can just hop on a desktop. Like here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
like
just hit-
I'm about to demonstrate right
You
now.
just hit F8 on your keyboard and boom, you just instantly switch to desktop mode.
Yeah.
And
Okay, but
instantly
you're
switch.
you're being real, right? Because someone told me to do the Alt F4 thing when I was
Oh no.
when I was
That
playing-
closes the window, yeah.
No, I
That
know. When
closes
I was
stuff.
when I was streaming, someone was like, "Oh, that's how you get this expression or something," and I totally pressed it. Oh,
That's terrible.
yeah, I
What a
fell for it
jerk
like-
that person was.
I fell for it like an idiot. Okay.
That's okay. Everyone goes through it
dang,
once.
man. Yeah.
It's a rite of passage in a way.
Turk is now in desktop mode. He didn't have to leave
hello.
the game. It's in game that you could switch.
It's in game. Wait, do you have that
Yeah, you
recorded?
just hit
Do you have
F8.
that
That's
recorded,
it.
Turk?
That is it.
What? No, I'm literally just like peering out of the eye hole of my headset and staring at you on my computer monitor right now. Because the instant I hit F8, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna go a different direction.
Oh,
Oh no. Okay, so it's still cool.
okay.
Yeah, nah,
I love
he's
how
in.
accessible it is, though. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
it's right there on the menu in front of
Actually,
you.
I have a better way to show it.
Oh,
One sec,
excuse
let me
me.
just
Go
put
ahead.
this on the ground.
Oh,
Whoa.
okay.
Just sit
Look at this
behind the couch.
contortionist. There you go.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
So you can physically see the switch happening from desktop to VR.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
So if your controllers die, your headset's being a bit poopy, you literally can just
Wait,
Right, and then
take
wait.
a headset break. Yeah.
wait a minute. There were several times that my headset was dying, and nobody told me this. You just let me log right
I just
off.
thought you really liked VR.
No. We could blame Skeeva because we thought Skeeva told you already.
Oh, me fail. See,
I would chalk
I
that up
only, I
on-
feel
Oh.
like it's VR or nothing for me with everything.
Yeah,
You know what
okay.
I mean? Like,
that
if I
actually
can't
is
be
what
in
made me
VR, I don't
thought
want
that
to
you
do it.
just really enjoyed VR.
I mean,
I
I
can't blame Skeeva.
Slap on the wrist. Slap on the wrist from Skeeva.
okay, sorry,
Slap on the
Shorty.
wrist.
Go ahead.
God.
Wait, what?
Oh, your story.
My story. So, yes. I started off as a desktop player, actually, when I came to PSVR. I heard about it from a group of people that streamed VRchat,
Mm-hmm.
and they said they were heading to Neos VR, and I was like, what's that? I decided to go check it out, and at first it was just really complicated because there was nothing, especially in desktop mode. Desktop mode back then, if you didn't know what you were doing, it was just a very challenging experience to do.
I'm messed up in my spot. Again.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's just, yes, I think it was just a couple months ago that the MMC started, and yeah, just being
What
in
was the MMC?
So the MMC is the MMC is the Metaverse Makers Competition.
Mhm.
So that competition is brings all the people from Neos together to create worlds or create games, to create avatars, new stuff to Neos.
Mhm.
And so
That's
I decided
awesome.
to,
Mhm.
it is. And that actually gave me the strength, the courage to make something on my own, with someone else. And
Mhm.
so I think it just started from that, where I just found really interesting that I could just make these types of worlds inside Neos. And I think after a few months, 2 months into Neos, I just started I just bought my own Oculus headset, and it just went from there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Robin, what was the moment for you that was like, okay, I'm doing this?
I think, I mean, I think I got, well, I joined the Patreon, I think the first day, right? Skeeva introduced me. But I think it was like the first day I was like, I just take my money. I wanted everything to do with this. But I guess for me, the biggest thing that I felt that was different from anything else I felt was the connection that I have with some of the avatars that I use. And like, I didn't create them. They were created by really incredible designers here in Neos. But there was just this thing about it where like I would look at this avatar in the mirror and it just like it felt like me.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
Know?
Everything
like,
you're
even
saying
just Ready Player Me. Yeah, exactly. Like it's just like it was just like a part of me that I didn't know I didn't have. You know, and so
that's so beautifully said.
Yeah, so it's that type of connection. And that's why VR is just so important, because there's people running around out there that just they don't know. They just don't know what's out there.
They don't know. I feel you. I feel like I'm talking and talking until like I turn blue in the face trying to explain to people like, why aren't you in the VR?
It's like, honestly, it's like early internet. It's really what it is.
It
You're
is,
gonna
yeah.
start seeing schools wanting to do more VR stuff, where like businesses. I mean, businesses like wanted it during the pandemic and still do. Like some are still pushing for that. Like literally during all of COVID, I was in here and I literally like a lot of people were like really depressed because of being stuck inside. But
oh my gosh, yes,
dude, this was perfect to have during all that.
Yeah, you know, I didn't feel.
COVID.
No?
Yeah, I didn't feel lonely at all during COVID. Like I was, you know, people were stuck at home, not talking to anybody, and I was hanging out with people all the time.
Yeah,
I'm just like, do you want to play VR? Like, and give you my headset. Like, family members are like, they're like, nah. And I'm like, okay, be grumpy.
Okay, just sit in your four walls and not interact with people. That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys gave much. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, there's not a person that comes to my house that doesn't try VR for the first time. Like, it's a must if you come to my house. So, yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Jazz.
Agreed.
What an amazing thing it is to be the person to show someone VR for the first time.
Yes.
And to really just wow them, because I mean, as long as you put them in the right experience and you don't, you know, throw them in an airplane or something, right, and make them want to barf. Like if you give someone the right experience, it is a serious, like it is a moment, man. It's a moment that they'll never forget in their entire life.
I love the smile and how it never ends.
I agree. Like, I'm straight up jealous of like, and I mean jealousy of like how lucky some people have it for their first VR experiences.
Oh yeah.
Like, I think I started with like Space Pirate Trainer, still phenomenal game. But like, if I were to like, hop in here for like the first VR thing, I'm like, oh fuck.
Can you
like,
imagine?
Yeah. No, I can't, because the moment is just gone. I just can't.
I
so
often
it's just like,
wish
that's why I get straight up jealousy with all of it.
I often wish I could take that device from Men in Black, you know, where they put it in front of their face and flash the person, then they forget everything, and just like, flash myself and then experience VR over and over again for the first time, and just have that magical moment over and over. That would be killer.
Yeah. So,
It's gone.
you guys have way deeper. You have way deeper answers than what I was thinking about what wowed me about Neos. But for me, okay, it's gonna sound so silly. But the first thing that wowed me was when Skeeva was like, Jazz, are you stressed? And remember when we were in the Andy's room for Toy Story?
Oh yeah.
And you said, are you stressed, Jazz? And I was like, no, not really. And you were like, that's okay. Here, take a puff of this. And so he gave me a pen, and then all of a sudden, the entire world turned into rainbow colors, and I was like, holy moly, what the F just happened?
Digital drugs.
So that was insane. So that was the first one, because like that's not something you would experience in any other game. And then the second one, which sounds so freaking silly, was when we know
Turk's working on the show.
Okay, fine.
Turk, pass over
Is that it? Is that it?
For later.
Yeah.
At least one.
For after the show.
Yeah.
After the show, we all take one puff, you know.
Oh no.
and see who barfs first. And then
you
the
go.
second thing that I remember where I was just so mind blown was when we went to the tea house, and I think it was me and Shorty that were sitting in the little hot tub thing.
Yes.
And then Turk came up and tried to fill the teapot with our bath water. And that blew my mind because I was like, wow, you can actually fill the teapot with the water in the bath. I don't, that like blew my, I know it sounds so silly or simple.
Did I ever say it was a bath? You guys just kind of hopped in and took the scrub of dub.
We clarified.
You
clarified us, and you told us it was a stove.
Oh, was it a
He was
stove?
cooking us. He was cooking us.
Sink.
He was making us stew.
Yeah. So that makes it even worse for you, Dirk.
But yeah, to me, it just blows my mind that there's objects that can interact with other objects. I mean, I guess from people that are just in the real world, they're like, wow, okay, so what? You can fill a teapot with water in a game. But as someone who has a technical background, I'm just like, what the heck? How did they do this? There's so much happening in the background to be able to do this. So that's
lots of math.
Yeah, that's the thing that blew my mind about Neos. So nerdy.
Every time something like that happens, my first thought is, do that in VR chat.
No.
Those are fighting words.
No,
I'm ready. I'm ready.
No platforms.
No
Different platforms, different purposes.
Yes.
All right, Turk, you.
We're like sweating bullets over here because of what Skeeva said.
I don't know why, but our questions keep disappearing on us.
Oh, it's okay. I wasn't really going off of those questions. I was going off of my feelings.
Oh, there you go. Sweet.
I just have this just in case.
Sweet.
Okay.
All right.
I don't know. How long has it been? I have no idea. I don't have a watch on me.
Don't mind me. Just,
there's a watch on your character.
There's a watch. Oh, not on this one. My other one usually.
Almost an hour?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
7:52.
Okay. Because I do want to look around some other spots. But Turk, since we wanted to give you the last one, right? You were going last for what blew your mind the first time in Neos.
Oh, I think I said that already. With the R-Wing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. You did mention that earlier, but that was it. Yeah. I mean, makes sense.
I mean, that's kind of what hit me at first. Like, and as time went on, it got better and better. Like, I went on a Magic School Bus ride. I climbed Mount Everest. I got put in a Pokeball.
Literally got hit by a hammer.
Merry-go-round. Hit by a hammer.
Hit by a hammer?
Hit by lightning.
Oh, that would be cool. Not in
really,
real life,
painful.
but in the game.
You die.
Oh, you can die in Neos.
Yeah.
If you die in Neos, you die in real life.
We'll miss you, Turk.
You die in game, you die in real life.
That's right.
But no, it's just a stacking on upon stacking on of things. Just being able to check cool experiences, like going into like an MC Escher painting was really trippy.
Ooh,
It was one of my really nice early ones. It got to the point where like literally I could just be like, you know what, I'm gonna go in the ceiling now.
Oh yeah, maybe you should. Oh yeah, that's one of the things that Skeeva loves to do is go in the ceiling and freak people out.
Spider Turk. Spider Turk.
I still don't know how you guys.
Spider Turk does.
I still don't know how you guys don't get sick. I'm wearing my bracelet right now.
Do those work?
They work so well. This is all I use. Yeah, ever since I started playing Neos or like I started using these and they're like perfect. Oddly enough,
that's so cool.
And they're
That's
only
so
like
cool.
$6.
Yeah,
for a pair of 4.
Than eating Dramamine, right?
Yeah.
So, if you can just put on bracelets, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Well, I was gonna say we should probably show some things now.
Are we bouncing around now?
Well, we could if you want to. Grab both your controllers and pull in to get bigger. Or pull out to get smaller.
Wow. Oh, can it bite the wiggler?
Yeah.
Wow. That is so cool. Oh, I see his glasses. I'm underwater. Oh my gosh, it's a macaroni.
Hides within the crevices.
Oh man, there it is.
There's your home.
Ah!
Oh.
Oh no!
Oh wow! Look at that. Crazy.
Wow, this is the experience that I was talking about. You see the bucket, it fills.
Oh, look at that! You poured it out into the thing.
Happy, what are you doing?
You gotta pull.
It's crazy to me that like when you pull, you actually get the milk and fill in the bucket. This is so cool.
No, it's really good.
That racetrack, that was.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, there you go.
Thank you so much for joining the very first episode of VRT. I love sharing all the secrets of virtual reality with you. If you want to play Neos, it is free to play and is available on Steam. Make sure to join their Discord so that way you can have one of the moderators show you around your very first time. And with that, bye! See you next time.